Hey, so we're talking again about precious metal recovery out of electronics. Once again, the main thing I'm dealing with is GPS and cell phones. I do have a little bit of a router and a couple other odds and ends in here, but definitely the vast majority is cell phones and GPSs. So I just had a few examples I wanted to go over there. So basically, the short recap is I've done this process where I've stripped the gold off of electric components and then tried to purify it. And I've had issues in the purification step. And my best guess as to what's wrong is just contaminants from debris and other junk coming off these boards that are in that solution. So this time around, I'm doing a new batch and I'm going to clean the PCBs off as best as I can. And pretty much try to get everything off that don't have no gold in it. So I just want to go over a few examples of some of the common types of thingamabobbers that I get gold off of, and mostly cell phones, but a few other things, and then some of the things that I have to really work at getting off. So a couple real just quick examples. So one thing I find, and this is a lot in cell phones, is I'll see if I can get the light on this. So those are all gold plated contacts. This is a what I would call a ribbon connector. It's used a lot of times to connect the camera to the main motherboard or the phone, or for flip phones to connect the screen side to the motherboard side, etc., etc. I also find these a lot in flat screen TVs. That's the other thing I have a lot of, is flat screen TVs, PCB boards. At least the ones at the bottom of the screen that have a lot of gold in them. And so I'll find these connectors on those a lot too. And my experience with these has been good because these little flakes come off pretty easily, and it's like little gold snow in the vial. One thing about this one that concerns me a little is, as you can see, it's stuck on my finger. There's adhesive on this backside, and one of the issues I think I might have been having last time was adhesives from stickers and other such things causing an issue. So that is one thing I'm a little concerned about. There is some adhesive issues on some other parts that I am going to address with acetone. So this, I believe, is part of an antenna, something or another, off of a router, and it's hard to tell, but this side of it is sticky, very sticky. And we have little bits of gold contacts on this side and also on this side. Also, the adhesive on this side, it's hard to even tell, but those are gold contacts, but the adhesive is over top of the gold. So I'm going to take acetone and actually wipe that adhesive away to hopefully just reduce the possibilities of yet one more thing causing an issue. This, talking about adhesives, is another example I want to show. This is a cell phone. I don't remember exactly what was right here, but it's a little hard to tell, but that is a very sticky adhesive. There was something that was stuck on top of this. I don't recall what. And so that's something I can't really scrape it off. I'm going to have to use acetone to get that off. Which I don't see being an issue as long as I let it dry before, throwing it in the mixture. This, real quick, is an example of a PCB board that I stripped as best as possible. So it's a little difficult to tell, but when you kind of look at this angle, this is flat. So a lot of this is capacitors, and I just scraped the capacitors off. And then, like, this was a chip that actually ripped part of the PCB board out. There was not really any gold in it, so I'm not worried about it. I couldn't really get this chip off without just destroying everything and just being a big mess, so I'm not going to worry about that one too much. There was a lot of connectors, like I think this was a USB connector that was here that I just sheared off. This was another connector for something I sheared off. And same thing right here. I don't remember what that was connecting, but just sheared it off. And so everything we're left with is, these are antenna connectors that I'm pretty sure are gold plated. It definitely looks like gold. And then you have, you can obviously see these gold strips. And if we flip over, this is the number pad that obviously has a bunch of gold contacts all over the place. But this is pretty much as clean as I'm going to get one of these, and at least as much as I'm going to work at it. So this is just an example of a stripped down board for what I'm shooting for. Real quick, this is just another example. This is not super tacky, but it is kind of an adhesive, and it is something that worries me as being debris. But you know, this is the number pad from a cell phone. This is probably like a flip phone. So, you know, that's great gold plating right there that I just, you know, I can't pass up. And then this, so this is the connector that connected it to the motherboard of the cell phone. And so this is all plastic connector with some gold laden contact points in there. So, you know, I probably will just cut that off because it's just not enough, and I'm just trying to reduce the debris as much as possible. Once again, man, I wish I had pictures or video of the other batches I did, but once you do the first step, it's like a sludge and a little sandy in there with like a lot of the ceramics, I think, dissolve. Either probably mechanically dissolve. I don't think the solution really dissolves them, but it's almost like a sludgy slurry, and there's all this junk. And actually, so this right here is a pile of the stuff I've just been scraping off, and it's a little hard to tell, but I mean, a lot of this is just dust from the capacitors, and there's just all kinds of little pieces of steel, a lot of plastic. And this is kind of like a lot of the stuff like this is what I would find is like some of these plastic bits, because they don't really dissolve, and then a lot of the ceramic, because I don't think that really dissolves in the solution. You know, little capacitors like this. So that's kind of the stuff I'm really trying to avoid. So this is one of the things I have to pull off. This was a GPS, I think. And so, but I found these a lot on cell phones too, where they have this like steel fence, and there's usually a steel cap on top of these that I've just already taken off, and then these plastic connectors. So like this is the connection for a ribbon connector, and so I'm going to shear that off. This is another thing. So this is once again a ribbon connector that's just directly, I think, soldered basically to the board, and it's kind of adhesive like. And so I'm actually going to pull this off, and now there's nothing left here but what I guess is steel and or solder, and there's not really gold that I can see very much in here, and there's a lot of adhesive there. So I'm just going to toss this in the trash pile. And this is just pretty. Man, I'll be danged if I remember what type of cell phone this was out of. It was definitely out of a quality cell phone. It doesn't come across probably very well on the camera, but this gold has got like a really deep, rich gold to it. I think that is because the gold is a little thicker, and then like you see this huge sheet of what I believe is gold on the back, and it has that, it just has like this deep gold luster. On the camera it might almost look like copper, but in person it definitely looks to be gold. That's just pretty. But also, yeah, we got like a lot of chips and stuff that I got. You can see I actually pried that chip out, but there's still like a lot of plastic connectors I gotta rip off of this. So I want to say that was the main stuff I just wanted to show real quick. I'm going to keep going through this. I have a whole bowl of this stuff to go through, and then I haven't even touched yet. I have my this is my stack of PCB. Well, actually, I don't think these are called PCBs in this sense, but these are from flat screen TVs. This is like at the bottom of the screen. The screen actually connects to these, and I guess this is what goes directly to the screen and gives it signals on what to do. But like they usually have these like serial numbers here. These are stickers that I'm definitely going to have to scrape off. They always have a lot of these ribbon connectors that have a lot of plastic that I want to get off, and they have a lot of these. This is like a foam cushion almost that has a little adhesive on the back that I'm going to want to get off, and then still lots of capacitors and junk, but they're just so gold. They look so pretty. I can't pass them up. So thanks for watching.